Hello everyone. Thank you for taking time to join us for this discussion today. So mainly we're going to be talking about life in KAEC. So Steve, if you can start by introducing yourself, please.
Sure, my name is Steve Bowen. I look after communications for the city, and I work with the CEO's office at EEC, which is the company that owns the city.
Interesting. Megan?
I'm Megan Bradley. I teach at the school that is pre-K through 12, and I'm the mother of two young children here, ages 4 and 6.
Thank you. Dikra?
Dikra Basmail. I'm a full-time MBA candidate at MBSC. Coming from Riyadh, trying to create the next big thing.
Interesting. I'm Salman Al-Khalawi. I'm also a student at Prince Mohammed bin Salman College. So let's start by talking about the city in a holistic view. If you have any input on that.
So basically, what is KAEC?
So basically,
what is KAEC?
yeah, basically.
Everybody likes a piece of cake. KAEC it's quite a unique project. It is the largest privately funded city anywhere in the world. It is built on 181 square kilometers of land, which is roughly the size of Washington, D.C. If you've been to Washington, D.C., not everybody has. I know I haven't, but I'm told it's roughly the size of Washington, D.C. And it's essentially a city that is designed to do two things. It's designed to operate as a non-oil economy. So we don't get money from the government. We don't get tax revenue. We don't get oil revenue from the government. We're fully privately funded. All of our business is non-oil. So we have to fill the gap. We have to find other industries, and which is obviously why entrepreneurship is such an important part of the business. Finding new ways for people to make a living and to support their families and support their ambitions. And the second thing, obviously, is to create places for Saudis, particularly Saudis, to live. A new residential concept. We call a world city for Saudi Arabia and a Saudi Arabian city for the world. So within that context, we've constructed a port, which is the economic centre of the city. That supports a logistics and light manufacturing hub, a pharmaceutical hub, and growing automotive business. And then we have a range of residential areas, and support it. We have education, we have the school, we have the Prince Mohammed bin Salman College of Business and Entrepreneurship, which is where, of course, we're sitting today. We're starting a number of vocational colleges as well. And then we have lifestyle tourism, we have restaurants, because we want to be a place that people don't just come to live, don't just come to work, but also come to live, come to enjoy themselves and come to have fun. So that is essentially the city in a nutshell. I could go on, but I'll bore everybody to death.
Okay, great. Let's start first. What do you think are there, from a lifestyle point of view, residence, hotel, etc.? If you have any input about that, Bikram. So you live in the city, right?
I live in the city.
Okay.
It was part of my studies requirements. And specifically, I live in Al-Waha. And it have been giving me so many opportunities to do so many things that I have been dreaming to do, like biking. The iBike, I started to train on it. And now in the same block, I'm starting to trip around the buildings to exercise my skills. Finally, I got my new bike, and now I can travel between different spots in the city on my own to get my own stuff, which is exhilarating.
How's the community safety-wise? I mean, how do you feel like being able to just open your door, walk out?
Actually, I have a really interesting story. I have never been doing it in my life. There was a meteor shower last December, and I wanted to watch it so badly for my whole life, and I couldn't. So this time, since the city doesn't have so many buildings, I took that chance to look at the sky. I went 4 a.m.
Wow.
outside and walked the middle, almost outside the block that where I'm living, and the security guard was driving behind me all the time. That's why I felt safe. Yeah, and sometimes I leave my window open, although I'm living in the ground floor, which is a new thing for me. Usually don't do that, but I know it's safe, so I don't worry so much about that. It's an amazing experience.
That's great.
Yeah.
Steve, your children also, okay, so they live with you in the city.
Yes.
They also go to the World Academy.
They do, yes.
So could you share your experience? I mean, having children in this new startup city, I'm sure it's a challenge, especially that you're taking them out of their comfort zone. Or I'm just assuming.
You'd actually be surprised. Like a lot of people here, I've been in Saudi Arabia for a while before I moved to the city. I didn't come to Saudi Arabia to live in KAEC. So I was living in Riyadh for 2.5 years before I came here. And like most expats in Riyadh, I was living in a compound.
Yeah.
Very small compound because I didn't get paid that much money. And from the perspective of the children, I wanted it because I thought it's going to be safe.
Yeah.
Riyadh is a safe city from the perspective of crime, from the perspective of sort of social elements, but physical safety, it's a very car-heavy city. It's not a place I want my children playing in the street.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about crime. I am worried about car accidents.
Yeah.
So obviously we're sitting in the compound. It's green. We've got a swimming pool, but they never really got out of the compound. When we came to KAEC, apart from the fact that from looking out over a compound, now we look out over the Red Sea, which is indescribable. We've got we have our window, then the beach, then the sea.
Yeah. So Dhikra lives in Al-Waha. You live in.
I live in Beilassan.
Okay.
Which is the older part. It's the urban part of the city, but it's the area that was developed first.
Yeah.
And when I came, that was the option. You could live in Beilassan or you could live in Jeddah. Really.
Oh, so see, that was like 5 years ago?
No, that was 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years. And
So,
since then, how many are actually communities or?
All of them now. So actually, no, Tala Gardens. So when I came, you had Beilassan.
Yeah.
That was it. Just after I arrived, Al Waha opened up, is where you guys are living. Then we opened up Al Shuruk, which is the area close to the Industrial Valley. That's the sort of entry-level housing, apartment type living.
Yeah.
Then the next one to open was Al Marouj, which is on the golf course. It's the high end, and now we've just started to open Tala Gardens, which is the last of our communities. In the original plan, people have started moving into that's more sort of traditional sort of Saudi.
Yeah.
family living.
All of this was what?
And all of this in the last 2.5 years, yes.
Amazing.
And we've actually just started our first new district in 10 years, which is up near the Hijaz Gate.
Yeah.
So there's a new area being built up there. But I think, to me, what sets KAEC apart as a father of daughters, two daughters, is that they can walk around the city. They can go out of the apartment and they can walk along the beach and they can walk through. There's no cars. There's no traffic.
You can be comfortable and you're.
I'm not. I was never worried about crime. That's not what worried me. Saudi Arabia is not is not big on crime. I was worried about traffic. And there isn't any because the whole area is pedestrianised. They can walk all the way along the beachfront. I have a dog. They can walk the dog. They can go through the green areas. They can walk along the canal front. It's a very, very walkable city. I could walk to work if I wasn't too lazy. And as you know, you can cycle around the place.
Yeah.
We've got cycle paths, and there are only cycle paths in Riyadh. So from that perspective, it's actually a much easier place for a family to live because there is so much more freedom without feeling that you're in a compound, which after a while, even a big compound can start to feel a little bit like a prison.
Of course,
Nobody wants that. You get to engage more with the community, you get to engage more with the space that you live in, and that's really what KAEC's about. It's about communities and space and living a lifestyle that is open and friendly and accepting of who everybody is. That's why we like it.
Plus the diverse. I like the diverse that you can find any kind of skill. My latest is starting to learn jiu-jitsu because one of our students are a qualified jiu-jitsu trainer and he started a class for ladies, which is amazing. And he just booked the community center for us every 2 days a week. So that's a new thing.
So can you elaborate more on the community center? What is it exactly?
The community center is a place where we can have any activity related to our block or anything regarding the city. Since it's a small city, everybody can join. Anybody with the skill or a certain interest can gather everybody in that zone. They can swim, they can play tennis. As students, after a really hard long day, we just had pizza and get around the ping pong table and start playing. It's a really nice setup for doing anything outside the house with everybody else. There are so many programs.
Interesting. Megan,
Yes.
you've been awfully quiet. So,
Can't get a word in it.
how do you see the city or overall the students, their lifestyle? What can they do? I mean, you're close to them, so I'm assuming you have a perspective.
Yes, and I did come here right from America. I came to Saudi, this past year just to live here and to teach at the World Academy. And the students, they have a very close-knit social group at the school. It's still very small, but it's growing. And yes, they're very friendly. It's a very diverse school. My daughter already, just coming here from America, has made friends with Egyptian students and Saudi students and students from New Zealand and people from all over the world. So
Diverse community.
diverse community, and I really like that. And as a classroom teacher, it's such a great opportunity for me to talk to students from all over the world and to get to know them. And the staff is also from all over the world, so we like that. And living in Al Waha as well.
Yeah.
We've met all of our neighbors, and they're from everywhere. My daughter, she's almost 7, and she goes out on her little bike, and she rides around to different friends' houses, having snacks and watching their television, and then goes to the community center.
Yeah.
And it's so nice. It's so safe. The security guard reminds them to ride on the sidewalk. So I know there's no trouble with cars. It's just been a really friendly, integrated place to bring my family.
Entertainment wise, I think there's a couple of stuff going on in the city. So there's a beach volleyball, there's karting. What future perspectively? What can we see coming to the
What do you
city?
see coming? Look, when you build a city, it's got to be livable.
Of course.
Otherwise, nobody's going to want to come and live in it. And part of that is about facilities and amenities, and part of it is about activities and events. Facilities and amenities really have started to pick up within the last, really probably 18 months or so. Obviously, the Juman Park area down on the canal is very open. There's activities there, mini golf, there's family kind of activities, splash pads, stuff like that. We also use it as a venue for outdoor concerts now that the Saudi society is beginning to be more accepting of big outdoor events. So we're the concert venue of choice. We had Nelly. I never thought I would be in Saudi and see an American rapper performing in public.
Yeah.
And here we are. We've had Nelly. We had Yanni. This weekend we've got Riverdance, the Irish dance group. My kids are psyched about that. They're so excited. So that is that's quite extraordinary and not something I expected to see. But on top of that, we have the golf course, which we just opened up, which has restaurants, and to be able to sit and look out over grass and fountains and birds. Again, not the image that people think of.
How large is the golf course? I heard it's one of the largest.
It's an 18-hole competition-grade golf course.
Yeah.
It's the only one on the west coast of Saudi Arabia. It's one of only 4 publicly accessible grass golf courses. In the kingdom. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But it's also restaurants, and it's also a venue for events and things like that. But I mean, not everybody's going to want to do that. We recently opened Topiary Gardens. We've got places where people can just go and hang out. Places where you can go and have a picnic. You mentioned you can go karting. You can go bowling. You can go. We've got a shooting simulator in the Bela Sun Club where you can go and do target shooting or simulated hunting shooting, or a lot of things to do, and it's getting bigger. Later this year we'll open up the marina for the first time, which means we'll have snorkeling trips and diving trips and fishing trips coming out of the city. We've got a floating water park where kids can go and hang out. We've got 40 cinemas going on. So what we're really we want to make the city a place where people want to come and live.
Yeah.
And part of wanting to come and live in a place is enjoying being in a place. And you don't want to go to work and go home and sit down with your family and watch TV and go to bed and get up and go to work again. That's not living.
Yeah.
So we really want to make certain the city is family friendly, is open. Whether it's going to a restaurant, all of our restaurants are open. We don't have segregated seating.
Yeah.
generally speaking, what we do is we try to make certain that if ladies want to have privacy, they can have it. So if you go to Al Waha, for example, as you know, you could. There's a gym. There's one gym. There's a certain area where ladies can go and work out by themselves. No men allowed.
Yeah.
The rest of the time it's open. Anybody can go.
Yeah.
We do the same thing in Beil Hassan. So we allow privacy because some people want it, but we don't enforce it. It's different. So we're really about trying to make certain that people can have a family-oriented, fun lifestyle that is still in line with Saudi values. Is still it's not a resort. It's not a closed-off community because it's a Saudi city. So there's a lot of things coming just within this year. A lot more activities opening up, and a lot more facilities opening up, particularly in sport, leisure, and obviously increasingly now in tourism and event-oriented. The list goes on and on.
Okay, I'm going to shift it towards Dhikr a bit. I'd like to take your take, or a lot of people have, especially from a female point of view, when it comes to transportation.
Yeah.
So until now, females are still not allowed to drive. Hopefully in 2 months you will be.
Yeah.
But how's life? How's shuttles, the Jeddah trips? I heard the train is opening soon.
I'm actually not thinking when the driving starts. I'm thinking to get the license, but not to buy a car.
Oh.
Yeah, because I think I'm covered somehow here. The bus shuttle, the community bus, helped me a lot commuting from one point to the other. If I'm really in an emergency, there's somebody who will take me.
So how does it work exactly, if you can elaborate? I mean,
just call the bus and he will be there at the community center or at your building, and he will take you within 5 to 10 minutes. We'll take you to the next zone for fixed fee, and it's comfortable for that. The other thing is that going to Jeddah, which I did the first time in my life. Last week on Thursday, I wanted to buy my own bike, and I couldn't just ask anybody because I wanted a certain criteria.
yeah.
So I just jumped in the shuttle from KAEC to Jeddah, which took, I think, 1 hour, 10 minutes. Went to the old city, got the bike, get back, jumped in the bus, came back home.
You're excited on the way back to try it
And
out.
the way back, so much excited. That's the first thing I did when I reached home. So it was easy. It's not something regular for me to go and travel from city to city alone.
Of course.
But it was facilitated very nicely, and it was good.
Have you tried the Kareem app? As we started
I have
using
used the Kareem app. Actually, it's a good solution going from and to the airport. It's they have a nice setup with the city to have it in a fixed rate. It's a good agreement, I guess, that they had with Kareem.
I've used it too. With kids, it's nice because we can all get in there, and if we're going down to the beach and they have their little beach pails, they can go in the trunk.
Yeah.
Or for Panda, it's nice too. If I'm shopping for my family, then it can. All my groceries can go in the back. So
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the Kareem app, and it's really easy to use and super inexpensive. So that's a good way to get around. And I also like my bike.
Yeah.
So bike to the Panda. That's a nice thing to do, and it's not too hot.
If you don't mind me asking, you're arrived in the city comparatively recently.
Yes.
How did you find adjusting? I mean, it's obviously Saudi Arabia is a very different culture from where you. I mean, the climate is the same in New Mexico, but the culture is very different. How did you find adjusting to Saudi Arabia when you got here? What was that like for you?
It's been so much easier than I thought. A lot of my friends in America thought, well, what are you thinking? Saudi Arabia, what will you do there? Because there's a very different impression there. It's much more modern than people think. And I was fortunate, my husband came 2 months before. So he did some of the, setting up our Mobile account and learning the ropes a little bit. But I just found it so easy to get around on the bus, and everyone here has been so friendly and so open with me, and my students they're friendly, they're funny, they're so much like American students in so many ways, and they've been so willing to help me learn about the culture, and the staff at the school felt like a real community, and everyone in Al Waha brought us food when we came and just was, so helpful. So it's been much easier than I thought, and it's such an international community here
Yeah.
that, I didn't really feel out of place in any way. And same with my children. I thought, oh, this is going to be a huge culture shock for them. But it really hasn't been. And they love being near the sea, and they love swimming in the swimming pool. And we've fit in pretty easily, I would say.
I always think as parents we kind of worry more about our children than we probably need to. I remember I grew up travelling. My father was a pilot. And for me, it was just like one long extended holiday. I wasn't thinking culture shock. I was thinking, wow, it's sunny, I can go swimming.
Yes.
We worry more about our children, I think, than we really need to. The kids like this kind of lifestyle.
Oh,
It's
my
fun.
kids have liked it. My 4-year-old has asked me a few times, this has been a very long vacation. When's our next vacation? Well, we're actually living here. And he's fit in, better than the rest of us even, and is learning Arabic from his classmates, and, he's helping me navigate some things doing that. He's 4, so it's been pretty easy.
But your history with the city goes back a lot further than mine, doesn't it? We were saying before. You saw this place when it was still mostly not here.
Yeah. Actually, as a family, we got an apartment when Beilesan was on a map. It wasn't even built yet. So you're talking way back. Ever since I've been out of the country, I've been studying the States. So once I came back, and I got the opportunity to actually visit the city, it evolved. It evolved in a huge pace. Like you said, in 3 years you had like 4 or 5 communities brought up. A lot of restaurants, the streets. I love the fact that the street lights are automated. So you don't just stand there for like 10 minutes waiting for light. It's like as soon as you approach, it automatically turns on. So there's a lot of tech in the city. It's very safe. A lot of cameras. I was concerned about health when it comes to hospitals, etc.
Of course,
Then once I felt down on a day, I was sick in a bit, and I went to the Suleiman Faqih.
Family Medical Center.
The Family Medical Center, right next to Panda. And it was really nice. It wasn't crowded. I think they're doing a great in terms of process. We went to the pharmacy, got what I need, left. Everything is there. Once a week, they have a specialized doctor come in if you have a special case that you need. So thankfully, I didn't need to go for anything major. But overall, it was a good experience that I faced.
And if I can add to that, that was something my husband and I thought a lot about when we wanted to work abroad, because our children are so young, and my daughter has asthma, which is relatively severe, and we had to have good medical care right where we were living. That was the baseline. So we've been really pleased with it here for my children, and we've got a lot of support from the doctors, and even the school has a nurse right there, which is so amazing. And they're connected with the medical center, so it's nice. It's really nice to have that, and we feel very safe and secure with all that. It's really modern and has everything that we would want to.
I heard there was a yacht club.
There is a yacht club, actually. It's not in the past tense. There is, and indeed will be. Yes, in fact, it is just, I think it's just behind where we are now. Memory serves. I'm trying to think exactly where we are. But yes, we have the Beilesan Yacht Club and Marina. It's just literally just around the corner from here. That is, we're currently just finishing off the yacht club itself, the facility, which will have, I was there just a couple of days ago. We actually have, can you imagine a simulated fishing machine? For people that really love to fish, but don't like the water.
Don't feel like it.
If you're a seasick fisherman, we actually have a deep sea fishing simulator. But more importantly, for people that actually do like the water, we've already started running diving trips out of there. We actually have a Saudi female master diver. She's a lovely noof. She's really, really cool. We've got expert deep sea fishermen. We've got diving instructors. And at the moment, what we're doing is we're doing. I've got nothing to do with it. Say we,
The city.
the royal we. What they are doing is they're mapping out all the different dive sites around where we are, because it's virtually untouched here. A lot of diving has been taken off the coast of Jeddah
Yeah.
by Saudi standards.
Yeah,
Even by international standards, is nothing.
Yeah.
But most diving has come out of over, so most people know that area. But up here, it's almost untouched.
Yeah, especially to
And
my
they've found-
knowledge, if I'm not mistaken, the Red Sea is one of the most beautiful seas when it comes to diving.
It is.
Coral.
It has the reputation of being one of the best places in the world to dive. And what's fun about it, I actually learned to dive a long time ago in Australia, in Melbourne, and it was cold. It was really cold. I was wearing a wetsuit, freezing. And I went here for the first time, and we went down to 22, 23 meters, something like that. And I was just wearing a t-shirt and a pair of shorts. And 22 meters underwater, it's still very mild. You're not feeling uncomfortable with the cold at all. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. So I'm looking forward to doing more of that. But at the moment, they're mapping out all this. So there's a wreck off the coast. There's a 100-year-old wrecked ship out there somewhere that they're mapping out. So at the moment, they're just trying to find out where we can go, where people can go to dive, and what's going to be fun. Areas to go snorkeling, areas where we can just go just to sort of hang out on the beach. But they are running. They're doing charters at the moment. It'll pick up.
I'm actually looking forward to join that experience, because I'm starting to learn how to swim here actually. At so many firsts, I know. Yeah, I actually had friends, because we went to an area for 50 villas where everybody was swimming, and I was sitting on the side. Everybody, you should just go.
Just go.
And my sister was there, and she's just such a hugging person.
Yeah.
She just jumped with her abaya. So
Yeah.
I thought, okay, why not?
Well, no, go for it.
When we both jumped, I don't know how to swim, but she held on me, and we swam all the way to the white area. I don't know, where you can stand actually
Yeah.
on water.
Yeah.
So ever since, I'm looking forward to find my first abaya swimming suit.
Yeah.
to
But of course, the
start
great thing about
swimming.
diving is you don't have to be able to swim, because the whole idea is to sink anyway.
That's the thing. I'm learning what's the difference. I actually told that diving is easier than swimming,
Yes, it
because it's all equipment as that.
It is.
that's
You
all.
have a jacket which is full of air, so
Yeah.
it'll just float you up the time.
And we have 2 or 3 of our classmates are professional swimmers who's giving me pointers every
Yeah.
time they know that
Yeah.
I'm going for a swim.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like about this place. Everywhere you still have somebody who give you some sort of an advice would help you and change maybe your life somehow
Yeah.
with my voice.
Well, the teachers at the school got to take a ride on one of the boats from the Yacht Club, and my husband and I were laughing, saying, in America, as teachers, we would never get to ride on a yacht. That's way beyond. And we got to bring our kids, and they thought this was the best thing ever,
Yeah.
to go on the boat, as my little son called it. But we just went around the marina, but it was so great.
Yeah.
It's really going to be fun when
Yeah.
that takes off.
Yeah, we hope so, to have more activities. I remember, I don't know if you were there, but we went one day. We had, I think, the end of the semester. We wanted to just release some steam, and we
Karting.
walked to the karting, all of us students.
Yeah.
And we started just speeding and bumping into each other and had
Yeah.
fun, like a blast. It was so much amazing. Actually, it was, I think, my first actual driving experience, bumping into people.
Yep.
But it was nice.
You know you're not supposed to bump into people.
Actually, that's what I did. Until I get my license, I learned
You don't get extra points for bumping into people.
No, I was delayed, so they were competing in front of me, a half round lap. I was almost like driving alone behind them.
Yeah.
Well,
It was good.
that's what I think I like about Jaman karting. It's not. I can take my kids there. It's not intimidating, because all you're doing is timing.
Yeah.
They're not. It's not about racing. I mean,
Yeah.
people race obviously against each other, but it's not a race setup. It's a
Yeah.
time setup. So it's safer, I think, particularly if you want to take kids out. My kids love it.
Yeah, until you lose and become
Yeah.
last.
Yeah,
Then
my
you
kids
will
keep saying,
understand
"Can we
it's
go again?"
Yeah,
racing.
but basically, it's the fastest time around the ring,
Yes.
rather than who finishes first.
Yes.
So you could always slow down, let someone go ahead of you, and then you
Yeah.
can go, because then the first place is going to be the person who finished the lap in the fastest time.
Okay.
And it's all
Yeah.
computerized, so when you go in, it tells you exactly how you did. It's fun.
Okay, so Abdurrahman didn't win. I'll tell him that. I'll tell him that.
Oh,
because
that's what he said?
He made 2 laps around me and I hated it.
Okay, would you explain like what's a typical day as a MBSC student living in KAEC?
Oh,
Starting from when you wake up.
I'm an early bird. I wake up around 5 to 6 a.m. I'm learning to cook quick breakfasts. Interesting one, yes, using the 3 ingredients in my home. Then I go out. I try to do either biking in the morning or in the evening, just around the block, because it's a nice weather at this time of year, and I don't want to miss any part of it. And then do my readings if I have to read, of course. Go to college with the college bus. But the college schedule is really nicely designed from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then going back. Sometimes we meet with other college students in the community center. Sometimes we just walk, me and other college students talking about stuff. I start to learn Russian, which is interesting. Yeah.
We have got a lot of Russian students though, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
think
have
something like
about 4.
4. I thought it
4
was more.
out of 20, so it's
Yeah, it's quite a high percentage.
Yeah.
I remember it was something like
20%.
sort of
Yeah.
15-20%
20%
of the body was
Russian.
Russian.
Yeah, so
20%.
I have to learn it, you know, because I start talking Russian, so it start to sound interesting. You learn that. We talk about everything. The setting in Al-Waha is nice. I like walking just at night, and you just look at the sky and you can see the stars bright, and you can't just miss on that. Or you sit on your balcony doing the remaining of your homework that you didn't do. It's nice. Actually, as an introvert, I just like sitting at home, but to walk outside is another experience. It's nice. That's my day.
Why did you choose to come to MBSC? I mean, it's knowing what you know about the city, knowing that it's a new city, knowing that it's not like being in Jeddah, it's not like being in Riyadh, or like being in a big city. Why would you choose to come to this college to pursue your postgrad?
It was several factors. It's the opportunity, the college, the affiliation where they're with, the city as well gives the environment or provides the environment to be able to focus on your business, on your startup, on your studies. So in a way, the college is set up so as you actually start your own business. And being in an environment where you see everything around you flourishing and starting from nothing. It was a piece of land 10 years ago. So what was it? What is it? 104, how large is KAEC?
181 square kilometers.
181 square kilometers of dirt, basically. So, and you can see everything around you rise up. So, in a way, it inspires you, you know. So, I think where the college started is very encouraging. How it started, the affiliation it has with Babson Global or Babson College. So overall, everything was an indication that it's a good place to actually pursue your graduate studies. I was thinking of going to the States. Then I was like, if I have this college here and this city here, why should I go halfway around the world? But yeah, that's moreover my reason of choosing KAEC.
What about, obviously when you go to college, you're not just thinking of the studies. You think about what's next.
Of course.
Is this somewhere that you would think about staying? I mean, you've both started businesses.
Yeah.
As a city, we're trying very hard to create an ecosystem for entrepreneurs like you that covers not just the education. Is this somewhere where you would think about not settling down, but certainly taking the next step in your career, or is it something you see as sort of a step in a journey that's going to take you beyond to somewhere else? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no, yeah. No, to be honest, I think it depends on a lot of factors, especially some have to do with business, some have to do. So you have to see how this is going to affect everything. If you're married, your children, your business, and you do your let's say calculations in a way. So if the opportunity presents itself, that it will be more feasible as well to actually stay in the city, to start a business here, to if it makes economic sense.
Of course.
Of course. Then of course. So, but no, I don't have anything against it to not be willing to stay in KAEC. It's a great city, like we've been saying. I think opportunity is great, and honestly, by seeing the growth in the past the recent years, I think it's a huge indicator to the vision that Amar has for the city. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
No, actually, I have a different opinion. I'm actually planning to have, whatever it takes, I'm planning to have my business starting here. It is a really nice, not just socially, business-wise. I'm here, going back to your question, why did you come to MBSC? The first thing, actually, I can say is just one reason. It's the Babson association with the college. Because I have seen them before in 2012. I see how they teach entrepreneurship. I thought that's the way I want to learn business. Because I'm a business graduate and a master's in economics, and I don't think I grasped it very well. I have 3 failed startups. So when I saw how they do teaching, I said, okay, I want that, and came for only that reason. And when I came here, I realized that there is more to it. Not just the faculty, not the campus, it's the students. So, for example, Salman, when you start talking about P&G, I have an insight inside P&G. Everything they're doing about quality, about sales, I understand more. There's another lady worked in GE in the US and then Dubai. There's a guy who is in Aramco. There's the Russian, mashallah, students are with their diverse new concepts about it's not the American way or the British way, the other side, and you understand more, and I found that here. So and it is ready, I think, to have startups starting from KAEC, especially with this kind of mentality, and I think there's a business hub in MR where they're supporting entrepreneurs, so I'm planning to target that. If I could manage, it will be like heaven for me to start from Saudi Arabia, because I was thinking to start this somewhere else, like Dubai or the US.
Yeah.
Somebody has actually advised me, go to US, launch your business there, it will be easier. But I think it's a good setup here. It's fitting me, both professionally and personally.
And personally.
Yeah.
And I think really that's the whole point. It's about creating a place where people can come and not just work, but find opportunity, find ways to grow personally, find ways to grow with their family, without compromising on their own culture. It's very easy to look at a place like this as some kind of enclave, like an Aramco compound or something, but it's not intended to be that. It's intended to be somewhere where people like yourself can feel that I can do what I want to do and I can achieve the ambitions I've got, and I don't have to give up what makes me me. I don't have to move to the other side of the world. I don't have to move to another country with all that's involved in that. You can do it from here, or you can come in as we did for different reasons.
Yes.
Why did you? I mean, forgive me if it's making assumptions, but for an American lady to come to Saudi Arabia, that's a step. I mean, that's a very bold.
You have to be born
step.
to have adventure.
Why did you choose to do that?
Before even I met him and before we had our children, my husband lived and worked as a teacher in Africa for 8 years, and so we had always talked about going abroad. Ever since I met him, and we're both teachers, so that's an easy thing to do. And believe it or not, it's hard for teachers in America right now. It's a very difficult field. So we started to talk about that and about giving our children the opportunity to live abroad, but we had a lot that we wanted. Good medical care and modern amenities. As an American woman, I need there are certain things I want and need in my home and where I live, and so we just started looking around, and Saudi Arabia kept popping up here and there, and my husband was investigating teaching jobs, and we saw the pictures of the Red Sea here. I could do that. I could live there. And we talked to people at the school, and they were so nice and loved the community, and it seemed like such an international place to be. So we went for it, and it's been really good.
I don't know if you have been to KAEC.
I have not been to KAEC, but people have said
it's an interesting place.
It's Little America, is what I've heard. But I'm glad we landed here, because it does. I'd hate to come to Saudi Arabia and not see what Saudi life is like, and interact with Saudi Arabian people, and we can do that here while still having a little bit more of the freedom that I'm used to in America as a woman or for my children. So it's the best of both worlds here, I think, and we really like that, and we like that it's small right now, but that it may grow, and we'll have new things to do all the time. So
interesting.
that's been good.
I think there's a sense that KAEC really attracts pioneers. It attracts people who are willing to go a little bit out of the comfort zone and to say, okay, I accept that I'm not going to have a giant shopping mall on the corner, and I know that there's a lot of work still being done within the city. But to be able to, I think we said before, to watch it grow around you, and to be part of that. I always say the best part of my job is that I can watch my job grow on Google Earth. I can go back into history on Google Earth, and I can see what it looked like when I came, and I just watch the golf course going from sand to brown to green, and the lakes filling up, and the buildings going up, and you can see it on Google Earth, and it's the most amazing feeling. When you do that, when you look at it, it's crazy. But a great place to be.
Yeah.
I think we'll call it a day there, shall we? I don't know about you guys, but I could use something to eat. I'm starving. Go find some food.
Yeah.
Man the hunter.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you everyone for your time.
Yeah.
And we should go choose a restaurant.
Let's go eat.
Yes,
Let's go eat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, it was nice to chat.
Nice to
Enjoyed
meet you,
it.
actually.
Yes, nice meeting you.